Okay, here's a video that we're going to do on weighted average. This is an example from MyOpenMath. Your numbers might have been slightly different, and that's okay. This is the data set that we're going to use, and I'm only going to do the weighted average method because you should have a good understanding of FIFO and LIFO at this point. If you don't, please make sure that you read the instructor demos and look at your work on MyOpenMath and everything else that's posted under assignments 3 and 4 in Unit 2 on Blackboard. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to do this in two methods. The first method will be the shortcut method. The things to keep in mind is we need to add beginning balance, purchase units, and total cost. We're going to calculate the average cost by taking the total cost divided by total units. So for our first example, we have a beginning balance, we have two purchases. We're just going to add those together, and we're going to get a subtotal. So if we add our units together and we add our total cost, we can get an average cost by taking the 400, 225 and dividing it by 165. And we get 2561. This isn't going to come out evenly, so you could take it to 2 decimal places or 4 decimal places. In the instructions, they say do not round the unit cost. Do not round total cost to the nearest cent, or do round total cost to the nearest cent. For our purposes, I think we're fine if we just take it to 2 digits. I'm going to be using formulas, so my numbers are going to use the exact value here. So it'll make it a little bit different than what your numbers would be if you just used 2561. So it's up to you. Notice that there will be some variations here due to rounding issues, and that's okay. I understand it when I grade it. When MyOpenMath does it, they're looking for an exact answer, so I'm not as concerned about that as long as I can tell what you were using. Now we come down to the sale, and this is where we're going to calculate cost of goods sold. To take cost of goods sold, we are going to take the units sold, which were 45 units, and we're going to multiply it by the average cost we calculated right before the sale. And to keep it simple for you guys, I'm going to multiply it just by the 2561. Now we get to do another subtotal after the sale. With this, we're going to subtract the sales amount from the previous subtotal. So we'll take the 165 and we'll subtract the 45. We'll do the same thing for the cost. And we'll add a couple cents in here. Make everything go to 2 cents. Okay. We'll do that afterwards, which is fine. Alright, now we have another sale, which means we need average cost. So we'll calculate average cost again. And we're going to get roughly the same average cost. So we'll say average cost is $25.61 because average cost is not going to change after a sale. It will only change after a purchase. Okay? So once again, we have a sale. We'll calculate cost of goods sold. This time, we have 55 units sold. So we're going to take the 55 times 2561. And we're going to subtract to get the sales amounts. So this gives us our balance. We had 120 units, we sold 55, now we're left with 65. This is going to be the average cost. On October 23rd, On October 23rd, we had another purchase. So with the purchase, we're going to add, we had 65 units. We're going to add the 55 units from the purchase, which puts us back at 120 units. We're going to add the previous subtotal to the new purchase total. And we get a total of $29.29. We also get to calculate a new average cost here. So we'll take the total divided by the units. For 165. A total of 120 units, giving us an average cost of $24.41. We have one more sale. So we need to calculate our cost of goods sold again. This time we will be taking 20 units sold times our average cost of $24.41. So we have a cost of goods sold of $488.22. Since this is our last transaction for the month, this is going to give us ending inventory. Remember, a sale is going to subtract from the inventory we have on hand. We had 120 units, we sold 20, so that gives us 100 units on hand. I'm going to double underline that since that's our final number. And for our total, we had a value of $2,929. We're going to subtract the cost of goods sold, so we now have a value of $2,440.80. So if we were to calculate gross profit, remember, gross profit is sales minus cost of goods sold. Sales is where we're going to use the selling price. So we sold 45 units on the 13th, 55 units on the 20th, and 20 units on October 30th, all at a price of $50. For our cost of goods sold, we calculated cost of goods sold at $1,152.45, $1,408.55, and $488.20. Formula in there. You see the gross profit was $29.50.80. So we only use the sales price for calculating sales. That means in the sales journal entry, we would use that as well. We would not use it when we're calculating cost of goods sold. I'm going to add a few colorings to this spreadsheet to make things a little bit easier, and I will attach the spreadsheet to Blackboard along with this video so that you can see both methods of the weighted average. I hope this helps, and I hope to see you Monday.